Hey everyone, it's Kathy, and you're back here with me on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin', and here in my craft room. Thanks so much once again for tuning in to another one of my card making videos. Many of you know that I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm located here in the beautiful state of North Carolina. But if you're not currently working with a demonstrator and you would like to purchase any of the products that you see me use in any of my videos, please reach out to me. You can text me, email me, or you can call me. And the number that's listed is my cell phone number, so you can either text or call that number. So I try to make it easy for you to get in touch with me. Also, if you want the new mini catalog that comes out in January, and it's another mini, it will have our spring and summer items in it, and it will probably have some of our Easter things in it. And that will also be a celebration catalog that will come with it. And yeah, if you have not experienced celebration, it's where you get to pick out a free item out of the celebration brochure for every $50 you spend. Now, some of the products will be $100, and you get, it's a bigger prize. Sometimes it's like a stamp and a die. Sometimes it's a stamp and paper, or sometimes it's a very elaborate stamp. But you have to spend, it's like a 2-tier versus a 1-tier. So anyway, if you want a catalog, please email me before the 30th. I will need to know by the 29th because I've got to send up my report to Stamping Up. So what I need you to do is email me with your mailing address, whether it's a P.O. box or whether it's your physical mailing address, your full name, your mailing address, and make sure you include that zip code. And I will make sure that you get on the mailing list for a catalog that will be going out next month. So they mail them out around the middle of December, and you should have them in your hot hand before January the 4th when that catalog goes live. So anyway, thanks so much, guys. I want to go ahead and get into doing this card. I haven't really kind of got it hand out in my head exactly what I want to do, but I know I want to use Joy of Noel. I'm loving this and this little sprig. So we're going to see what we can do with that. And of course, we're going to use the dies to cut out our Noel. So the dies and the stamp. I'm also going to use Merry Melody. And if you see I have it upside down, that's because this folder was actually produced upside down. And let me silence my phone so we're not getting my dings. There we go. So this might have been a mistake when Stamping Up did it. I don't know, but when you put your paper in, make sure it's opening this way, and you're going to line it in, and that will be the front of it. If you do it like this, you can always turn your paper around, but it will be upside down. So we're going to use that. I've already stamped some of those beautiful images, and we're going to color those. I do need to grab real red. Real red. I'll do the light real red. So those are the 3 markers we're going to use. I have a Mossy Meadow Light, a dark shaded spruce, and a light real red. And of course, I've stamped these in with Memento Tuxedo Black ink because it is a water-based ink or a dye ink, same thing. It's a dye ink, which means it dyes the paper. So that way the alcohol blends will not lift the color, or smudge or anything like that. I also have a piece of the distressed, or this, what is that one called? It is called Silver and Gold. Now, what makes this, it's a sparkle paper, and what makes this so special is it has a adhesive backing on it. So after you die cut your pieces, you can literally peel this off the back and place your pieces down where you want them. That's going to work out great with this particular card that we're making. So let me move that over here. All right. I'm thinking I want to do the red piece. I actually had kind of had it in my head that I was going to do the green, but I changed my mind. And I know I have a tendency of doing that. And I'm going to pull this piece out. And this is, like I said, from the Joy of Christmas. It is the paper that goes with that stamp set. So yeah, I'm gonna change that around a little bit. And I decided instead of going with white on this one, I'm going to go with off-white. So, or the very vanilla. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and emboss, do my embossing No, maybe not. Maybe I'm going to go ahead and get this lined up in here. Like that. Set that over to the side. I think the next thing I want to do is I want to color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color just a tiny bit, and then I'm going to put on some music and speed this up a little bit so it doesn't take so long to do the video. We finished up our coloring. So now all we need to do is die cut these. So I'm going to grab die cut that cuts those out. It's going to be this one and this one. Now we're going to have to cut them one at a time because we only have one die. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to use my long Tim Holtz scissors and I'm going to cut and cut. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to cut up and over. And I'm going to do the same thing with these, just cutting them out. I've got one more here. Just like that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this one on here. Something like that. One little post-it flags to put on here to hold everything in place. The same thing with this one. I'll also pull that die out, and I want to get a little bit of shaded spruce to cut that that greenery out with. So shaded spruce. Just going to get a small scrap. We can probably get 2 of those out of there. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my electronic die cut machine since it's right here. And I'm going to put one there, and here, and one right there. My cover plate over it. And we're going to run this through. So we've got that done. I'm going to pull these off, and I'm just going to stick them right there because we're going to use these again. And there's our first piece. Isn't that pretty? And then this little piece. So neat, so clean. Then we're going to get this little piece. And leave that over there. And we're going to go ahead and put this one down to cut one more time. And I'm going to slide it to this side this time. And I'm going to use my other 2 dies and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to line this up. And then we're going to put this one right about here. This one's going to definitely need a piece of tape, even though it's magnetic. I got it close to the edge and it's kind of wanting to warp on me, so we'll fix that. This one I'm going to put down right about here. And then we're going to cut a little piece of that gold. Just enough to be able to cut this out. So I'm going to lay it right beside of my scissors like that and cut up. And then I'm going to hold it this way and cut across. And then we're going to move this on here like that. And we're ready to push this all through. So this time we're making full benefit of our cut surface. Now that was an awful lot of die cutting in one shot, but let's see how we did. That's off a little bit, but I can trim around that. It might not even matter with the way I'm going to be using it. So that one's working. And I'm going to drop these back into my sleeve as I use them. That way I make sure that my dies are getting back in the proper place. That one's pretty. And let's get our little greenery out of here. There it went. And there's some great dies in this set. So if you have overlooked that set, I would say go back and look at it again. Now these are going to come out individual. So you're going to have an O, an N, an O, an E, and an L to spell out our word Noel. And I have so enjoyed using this particular set. It's been so much fun. All right, so that is cut out. And we can put this back in here. And I'm going to take all my die cuts, just lay them over there out of my way. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I want to emboss, but for this I'm going to bring up my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We're going to open it up. And I'm going to take my folder. Now I'm still going to feed it in this way, but I'm going to know that the bottom is actually my top. So I'm going to grab my base plate one. This is a 3D embossing folder. So I'm going to lay that down like that. And I'm going to put my number 4 specialty plate over top of it. And we're going to crank it in. And then we're going to take it out and check it out and see what we have. I know if somebody reads music and they get this card and it is upside down, they would be very, very upset. I have heard other music people say that about this particular embossing folder. So the next thing we're going to do is get that out of our way. We're going to bring up our paper trimmer. And I am going to cut a piece of this red plaid. And again, that's from The Joy of Christmas. I think I'm going to cut about a 2.5 inch piece. And I think I want it to go all the way across there, so I want it to be at 4. Because I know that mat is 4 inches. So now we can adhere this all the way down to the bottom of our card. The other thing that we need to do is we need to score our card base. And yes, I did do very vanilla on very vanilla. Sometimes I think a card looks good when it's tone on tone. Now you could use the cherry cobbler, would be beautiful with this because that's a nice rich red right there. But I chose to do the tone on tone for a reason. I wanted to have that little bit of, I don't know, elegance. And let's pull up our scoreboard. And I'm going to put this in on the 8.5-inch side. And I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. And I'm going to turn it and give it a good burnish. And we are done with that. And I got a smudge on this, but we're going to cover this up with that other piece. So I'm not going to worry about that. That's a great time to use your pieces of cardstock that might have a smudge. You know, sometimes in storing, pulling them out, sometimes you've got them out, get a little ink on it. A variety of things can happen. So if you have a smudge, you can always take your mono sand eraser and erase that off. Or you could do what I'm going to do, and that's just cover it up. Then I don't have to worry about doing anything else to it. Now for this, I am going to use some Stampin' Seal. And I'm going to use a good little bit. And I'm just going to run some pieces from the top to the bottom. And whenever I'm doing a piece like this, I like to make sure I didn't turn that around. I think that's correct. I like to sit it up and just kind of get that right where I want it. Similar to that. Now I'm going to press over it. So I really want that to go down, all down into those little cracks. And that is perfect. That's going to stay. It's not going to go anywhere at all. So the next thing that we're going to do, let's bring in all of our little bits and pieces that we have cut, colored, and stamped, colored, and cut. That's the right way for it to be said. All right, so what I want to do is I want to put maybe one like that, and maybe one like this, all the way to the ends of the card, like that. I am going to pop these up on dimensionals, and I'm going to tell you why. I want to have a little extra to be able to tuck behind, so I'm going to grab my Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm just going to stick about 3 on there. And I'm going to do the same thing to this one. Okay, so now we can go ahead and pull those off, and I'm going to use my Take Your Pick. And by using the highlighter on the back of those, see how easy it is to tell if you actually pull them off or not? I love that idea. And no, it wasn't mine. I cannot take credit for it. It was actually, I think someone else had mentioned this to Sharon Armstrong. And I saw Sharon do it, and I thought, ooh, I've got to try that. And it works beautifully. So I'm going to stick that down right there. And then I'm going to stick this one down. You know what? I don't need dimensionals here and there. Let's pull those off. So we only need the one right there. Okay, we're going to hang on to these because we're going to use them on something else. So I'm going to stick one there and one there. And now I want to use some of my little sprigs, and see what I mean about leaving that. I am going to put a little tiny bit of glue underneath here. So I'm going to lift that up and run some little bit of glue right in there. And then sit that into the glue. And now we're going to take these other little sprigs. And I did do 2 of each of these, so I'm going to take one of these and I'm just going to make sure I'm getting all those little bits and pieces out. And I think what I want to do is I want to kind of put this down and let that make a backdrop for it. And we're going to put that under something like that. Like that a lot. So I'm going to put glue on the back of this. And then just lay it onto that piece. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. You're going to take your pick tool and just pick out those extra little pieces. And we'll do the same thing with this one. A little bit of glue right here on the back. And put that on there. And now we can very easily tuck here and here. Something like that. I love that. I'm not going to glue it in until I see where I want my Noel. My Noel is going to go down and up and down and up. Isn't that gorgeous? Or if you want your Noel to even show more, you could put it here and here. And then the E down here. And then the L right here. I like it both ways. I'm not sure which one I like the best. What do you think? I think I like the Noel. Looking at it from the angle, looking down, and we're going to put some gold jewels or something right up there. So let's do this. Let's put a dimensional on the back of this. And then let's tuck that in like that. That gives us that 3-dimensional look. And we're using up those Stampin' Dimensionals that we didn't use on the other side. Oh, that's so pretty. I love that. So now, because this has backer on it, I am going to pull off my backer. And I'm going to line this one up right at the bottom. Sure, end's going the right way. See, that's what's so nice about these. Now, anytime you're trying to space out letters, do your first and your last, and then you'll have a better chance of getting your other ones evened up. So I'm going to pull off the backer on that one, and I'll bring it down to the bottom. See, O, E, L. This one's going up. That's so pretty. Now this one's going to go down. And this one is going to go up. So we got that one down. I think we can go ahead and put our E in. E in. That sounded strange. All right, let's go ahead and put the E right here. And then we're going to do our O. And the O is going to go up to about here. And that's so cute. I love that. Now we're not done because we still need to put our card on our base. But I want to use some of our little gems. And I didn't look to see if this stuff was available. I said I was, and I totally forgot. We have some little gold musical notes here. I think they'd be so cute to use with our Noel. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just take a little spot of glue. I'm going to sit one in each one of those glues. Let's get another one. Put it right there. I don't know that I want to put one there. I might not. We're going to put some up here at the top. And another one. This one we'll just lay it right about there. And now we can do some of our little gems. Let's try one here. Maybe one right here. Now I'm just going to turn this over and I'm going to put glue on the complete back of it. Let's try popping this open again. Sometimes when it's been left for a few days, got to work it a little bit. I think this is the only hiccup I've had with this particular glue gun and bottle since I've had it. If I leave it for a period of time and come back, and I'm talking days, I'll have to work on the nozzle just a tiny bit. Next time I do that, I'm going to try to remember to put my lid on it, screw it down good and tight, and I hope that that will alleviate that particular problem. So let's move those out of our way, bring our card over. We're going to lay this down, and we're going to get a nice border all the way around. That is so crooked. Oh, my Lord. I'm not out of practice that much from a weekend off. I grant you it was a long weekend, but there we go. Now the only thing left to do is to stamp something inside. And I think I might want to cut another piece of this just to kind of carry that through. Can't decide Yeah, I think I want it to go about like that, and I'm going to cut that off. Let's cover these up before we knock them over. That would not be a good thing at all. And grab my trimmer. And I'm going to cut this. I'm not really going to measure it. I'm going to cut it right at that second dark line. So I'm going to close that up and give it a cut. And that just looks so crooked. Let's try that again. That looks much better. I think it slipped underneath my hand when I was working on it. So now this is going to fit right across the bottom. I might have to snip just a teeny little bit off of this, just to get it to fit in. But I'm actually gonna cut another piece. I think I want another piece of the Very Vanilla. Let's see if we can get a piece out of this. That is going to be, yeah, I think that will work. And we're going to do it by 4 3/4. And now we can actually put this down on here and just whack it off. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put glue on the bottom of this. I'm actually going to put it on the card itself, the mat. And then we're going to lay this in it. Then I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut it off. Something like that. And I'm going to open that up and I'm going to sit it in. It's about like that. And I want to stamp something on it. And I think what I want to say is, get a different stamp set for our Merry Christmas. Got this one, hoping you're home. I like the Christmas tree too, though. We wish you a Merry Christmas. I think I'm gonna do that one. I found I use that one real often, and you can see that I do. So I'm gonna stamp that in. I think I'm gonna do it in the real red. Yeah. Or do I want to do it in cherry cobbler? I'm always indecisive when it comes to stamping. Very pretty. I love that. So let's close this back up. Then I'm going to use a little tape runner. And then we're just going to sit this in. Just like that. And our card is done. I hope you've enjoyed watching me make this card and kind of doing it on the fly. But I love the products that I used. I love the colors. And I think it screams Christmas in a very festive way. If you like this card and you would like to make it, maybe you want to purchase some of the supplies that I showed while using this, please reach out to me or either just go to my website and put in your name and your information and shop my website. It's that simple and that easy. It's a very secure site. Stampin' Up! Is a wonderful company and they value your privacy. So thanks again so much for tuning in. Remember, if you want the new mini catalog and celebration brochure, make sure you email me and let me know. God bless and keep you. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Savior. He is worthy. Until next time, bye-bye.